It's turned into a case of Eddie Howe's second half mags this week. Another cracking second half performance, another cracking 3 points. I'm going to stop saying that we almost booked the Ryanair flights. I'm going to look on Skyscan tonight. I'm getting my passport out of the cupboard. The Southampton Match vlog's coming up to Newcastle fans, so make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black White Banter, Newcastle fans. I'm making the walk, as I always do, just bounced out the shower. Bit of a grim day for a bank holiday. It's normally the case, isn't it? That's not going to stop us getting over there and enjoying every second of what is an amazing thing going to St. James Park at the moment. I tell you what, I just had this thought today, randomly. You take a step back and you really think, I know we're all amazed with the season, but if you really think about what we are witnessing at the moment, it's absolutely incredible. And I think it's got to the point now, we almost taken playing great football for granted a little bit. Like, oh, we're probably going to batter these. This time last year we were still pretty good at it anyhow, but if you just think about the last 14 years, it's absolutely amazing. And I'm humbled by it when I take a step back. It's absolutely fucking incredible supporting this football club at the moment. Such a unique club, and I'm so chuffed to feel a part of it, as we all are. I'm confident going at this one, as I said on the match preview. There's no reason we shouldn't be beating these. There really, really isn't. We should be battering them to a degree. I know every Premier League match is tough, but they haven't won a game since March. We've scored 10 goals in 2 games, and I fully expect the momentum to go. We've got players off the bench chomping to get in. Let's get at these. Let's get in St. James's Park. Let's soak up a couple of bank of pints and another 3 points, a step closer to them Ryanair flights. However, lads, team news has just dropped. Eddie Howe's, I think he's been forced to make changes today, a couple of them. Longstaff, there was rumours this morning he'd really hurt himself. Actually, in the incident that he never got a penalty for against Everton, I think he's a big miss. So I don't know whether his season's over. We don't know that yet. There's talk of him maybe fracturing a bone in his foot. Fingers crossed for the lad that's not true. But Eddie Howe's been forced to change it in that sense, because I think Longstaff would have been one of the first names on the team sheet. Isak's back in, and he's basically reverted Anthony Gordon, who hasn't had that many starts and that many opportunities. He's come in as well, so he's going to play on the wing. Willock, Joelinton and Bruno are going to take that 3 in midfield, and that's how things are looking. I'm devastated Longstaff's not in, because I was a little bit worried. I don't think he was the reason we lost at Villa, but he does a lot of unsung work in that midfield, so we'll see how that pans out today. Fingers crossed we can still get over the line against a very struggling Southampton team. I'm going to get up to the stadium now. How are the lads? I've just realised I've come out of the house without my season ticket, so I've just had the flappiest couple of minutes run to the box office. I've managed to get a replacement, so I'm a little bit late. I'm going to get inside. Lesson to be learned here, always check your pockets before you leave the house and make sure you've got the most important thing in your pocket, your fucking season ticket. Half time, 1-0. I don't think any of us were expecting that. I've probably cursed us by saying in the match preview how this was going to be a banker. Started really slow, a couple of our players looked tired. We haven't really got going. That intensity that we've known especially in the last 2 matches against Tottenham and Man U, just hasn't been there. Really, really disappointing to start of the half, really poor half. But then we've still had chances. Anthony Gordon, back in the team today, he's been at the good of all we've done. He had a side-netting shot earlier on, and then he's gone clean through, and he probably should be doing better. So we've still had a couple of chances, but generally speaking, just a shock. Earlier in the season, we were a second-half team, and then that changed, and that flipped on the head, and we started starting games with a lot of intensity. So who knows? I'm only expecting better in the second half. It has to be. Southampton came out the trap, so they were better in the first 15 minutes. They really took the game to us very early on. It's just been really disappointing. I think Bruno's looked really tired. He got caught for the goal. I've watched it back at half time over a beer. Quite a disappointing goal to concede. He gets possession pinched off him by Lavia too easy, and then our defending for the cross, there's only one man in the middle, there's no one near him for out of Botman and chest, so that's really disappointing. Just a really poor half. I would probably be looking to make changes if I was anyhow. You've got Almiron chomping a bit for some energy. You've got CALLUM WILSON. Isak hasn't had a sniff in that first half, which is really disappointing. And just a really slow start. Is it because we've had 2 games in 5 days? I don't know. I don't like to use that as an excuse very much, but a couple of our players have looked very lethargic and very slow. And that intensity and that slow build-up play is not what we've been used to in the last couple of matches. So things can only get better in the second half. Hopefully Eddie Howe can really rally these at half time and maybe make a couple of changes, because so far that was pretty slow, that was pretty poor. to be totally honest. I think it's caught us all by a little bit by surprise. So what the hell do I know? I'll probably jinx us by saying this was a pretty sure thing. Fingers crossed for the second half. I'm going to go and finish my pint. How are the lads? Just come out of the match, just joined by Alfie here. Alfie, game of two halves, a little bit like the Everton game on Thursday. We were a bit slow out the blocks, a little bit concerning at half time, and then we just turned it on like a DJ, cranking up the noise in the second half. What did you think of that game?
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Second half, first half, I was starting to lose hope that we were actually going to score a goal. Yeah, it's my only it's my third time here, and last time we were here we drew to West Ham, so
right,
I'm hoping we didn't get a loss.
Nice to see a win then.
Massively. Yeah, we turned it around massively, I think.
And who, again, probably mainly in the second half, I'm guessing we're talking about, who was your man of the match today?
Definitely Callum Wilson. It's not probably, it's definite. Callum Wilson.
And obviously Eddie Howe made that change at half time and he's put Isak out on the left. Well, obviously we saw what he did against Everton on Thursday with those silky dribbles.
Yeah.
Do you think it's time now for maybe Isak to start starting games on the left hand side with Wilson or not?
I don't think so. I think like a second half performance from on the left for him would be just fine. It would be just fine if we just kept the way it was. Yeah. And
with regards to that Champions League place, we said it was almost in our fingertips. We've won another game now, 3 in a week. Is it ours now? Is Champions League pretty much almost done and dusted?
I'm going to revert to a Eddie Howe quote. It's not ours until it's mathematically over.
All right, I like that.
Yeah, it's not ours until the Premier League's over.
Well, I'm asking you, do you think it is?
No.
Oh, right, okay, right.
Hands, yeah.
Right, so you don't think we're going to get Champions League?
I think we are going to get Champions League, it's just not in our hands yet.
Right, okay, thank you very much for your time. Right, I'm just joined by James. James, game of two halves, probably like the Everton game on Thursday. We were a little bit flat, a little bit slow out the traps, and then we just turned it on in the second half. What did you think of that?
I think it was an amazing game, but we could have put more effort in the first half. But then, obviously, as you say, we turned it around in the second half and made a comeback.
So what do you think sort of went wrong in the first half?
More about pressing and all, getting onto the ball more and obviously pushing forward and getting up the field.
I think Southampton in the first 10 minutes they looked pretty up for it. They were on us from the first whistle.
They went for it. They went for all out. The first 10-15 minutes off, and then they seemed to drop back behind the ball a bit, and then we seemed to catch up on that in the second half.
And with regards to that second half, it was wonderful at times, as is watching Eddie Howe's mags this season. He changed it with Callum Wilson obviously coming on half time, Isak on the left. Now, would you be looking to do that from the start in future games, or would you still like to see Isak as an out and out forward?
I'd like to see Isak and Wilson start together because they seem to make a good play.
There you go, Isaac's the boy. And who was your man of the match? I know that's, again, you're probably talking about the second half, you're not talking about the first half.
Then I'd probably give it to Bruno. I'd say
right, okay.
Bruno seemed like he was strong in the middle, and he obviously got that goal forward to put it ahead, didn't he?
Yeah. And then Ryanair flights that we've been looking at for the Barcelonas, the Madrids, the Germanys. We're getting a little step closer. Can we start dusting the passports off for them places yet or not?
I hope we very much can. It seems like very promising, but you never know. It's still early days, isn't it?
Well, that's going to lead on to my next question. Are we going to be playing? Are we going to be hearing that Champions League music at St. James Park next season?
Yes, we will, 100%, definitely.
Happy days. Thank you very much for your time. Right, I'm just joined by Dave, who I've just found out follows Black and White banner and he likes the stuff, he shares it a lot. So that's always nice to hear. Yeah, fantastic. Game of two halves there, very much so. Kind of like the Everton game, maybe not so much, but Everton, we were a bit slow in the first half. Second half, we came out the traps and turned it on. Yeah. What do you think of that game?
Well, first of all, before the game, I said we need to watch this number 45 for them, Romeo Lavia. I thought he was outstanding in their midfield. Yeah. Pinches the ball off Bruno. 19, yeah, 19-year-old. They bought him for 12 million. He pinches the ball off Bruno. He had Bruno in his back pocket in the first half. And they score, backs against the wall. And I didn't think Gordon had a bad game, to be fair. I thought of the two wingers, probably Murphy had the poorer game. But he hooks Gordon at half time for whatever reason, and it made all the difference because Isaac going on the left and Wilson coming in the middle, we're a different team then because they cannot control Isaac.
Well, that's going to lead on to my next question. So obviously with that change being made at half time, would you be looking to play Isaac on the left with Wilson down the middle from the start, or would you still prefer that opportunity to switch it up during games?
I think you've got to have that opportunity. We've got two players who can play on the left wing. We've got two players who can play on the right wing. We've got two centre forwards, and I think you've got to stay with it until the end of the season.
Where do you think Isaac's better based off what you've watched so far?
Isaac had a great second half and an average first half. So. Yes, you could argue, well, he was more effective on the left wing, and yes, it gives you an option because he's a utility player where he can play right across the front three, whereas Wilson, he can only play centre forward.
So yes or no, are we going to finish this season in the Champions League places?
Do I sound like a politician? So,
give it as a yes. It's a yes or no.
We will finish in the Champions League places, but I'm trying not to tempt fate. Because we've got some.
I should have asked you after a couple more points. I bet you would have said yes.
How good have Brighton done this season? Liverpool seem to be on a roll. I don't know the result today. I
haven't looked.
But Liverpool are on a roll. Brighton are on a roll. Aston Villa are hitting form. So there's some teams hitting form at the moment. Spurs are dropping off. But mathematically now we're probably only 2 wins off. Securing it. And we've got 3 home games to come.
I'm going to take that as a yes. Full time, 3-1. Isn't it wonderful being a Newcastle fan? I wasn't thinking about it at half time. I certainly was not thinking about it at half time. We are turned into Eddie Howe's second half mags this week. Very similar to the Everton game. Slow in the first half. Obviously Everton, I know we were winning, but it was very similar. We didn't have that high press. We didn't have the intensity. We were very slow moving the ball from the back line to the forward line. Isaac never really got involved in that first half. And then we just turned it on. It's like a DJ at the decks cranking that noise. It's like when we decide to crank it up a notch, teams can't handle us, and that happened again today. It really did. The intensity was back, and I don't know why it's happening in one half. I don't have an answer for that. Is it because we don't have the energy to do that for a full game because it's very difficult to play that pressing style for so long? Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but we've won the game, and that second half was brilliant to watch. It was at my end, attack after attack after attack after attack. We had a disallowed goal. Now, Eddie Howe's changed at half-time to bring Callum Wilson. I thought someone said to me at half-time, Anthony Gordon was right to come off. I think that's harsh. I think Anthony Gordon actually looked one of our brightest sparks in the first half. But he changed it. He moved Isaac out to the left where we saw his amazing dribbling ability in the Everton game on Thursday. And it worked. Callum Wilson, we know he's a poacher. That's what his first goal was all about. And Isaac is just looking so silky on that left-hand side. So that's why I've just been asking fans, would you like to see Isaac playing on the left from the start of games and play the two together? I'm not so sure. I'm really not. But Isaac is certainly staking a claim why him and Callum Wilson can start matches together. It doesn't have to be a him or him. It can be both. And that change really changed things. Yes, generally speaking. There you go. There you go. Getting people saying hello to us now. I'll tell you what, I'll be signing autographs in a couple of years. Didn't have any of my merchandise on though, so sort that out. Sorry about that. It's always nice though. I don't know. We were intense anyway. We were better. Longstaff coming out before the game, I was worried about that. We didn't look like we missed him. I thought Bruno today didn't have his better game. He didn't. I know he ended up scoring. I'll have to watch that one back. It looked a bit of a lucky bobble. I didn't think he was the best in that game. First half, everyone was pretty poor, pretty slow. Bruno looked a little bit lethargic today. He wasn't my top performer, and we've seen a lot better from him, in my opinion, at St. James Park. But we just carried into that second half, and the likes of Joe Linton cranked it up a notch. I thought Murphy was better in the second half before he went off. And Eddie Howe now, I love the man, we all do, and he's able to make changes like the Callum Wilson-Isak switch, and that just affected it. Southampton could not handle it. And that intensity, that change in how we can crank it up has got so many points this season, like it did on Thursday, like it's done today. And the second half was brilliant. Like I say, the less said about the first half, the better. Our defending for the goal wasn't very good. Caught in possession, that wasn't very good. But we've got the points. Callum Wilson's banging them in. Isak's setting them up. It's just wonderful times. I said at the start of this video how I'd sort of reflected on how amazing it is to be a Newcastle fan right now. I stand by that as I stand here. It's absolutely incredible. We've seen, 13 goals in 7 days and 3 conceded. That's crazy, and I'm loving every moment of this. I really, really am. Now, the same question I've just asked the fans, is Champions League ours? It's certainly ours to lose. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to try and stay a little bit on the fence. Brighton at home is going to be such a challenging game. Liverpool, I don't know what their result is. I don't think Liverpool are catching the top 4. I don't. That's just my opinion. Arsenal next week. If we can beat Arsenal, and I'm very excited for that game, I really, really am, it's got to be ours. It has to be. We just need 2 wins. And we've got Leicester at home. We've got Leeds away who are struggling. That'll be a huge game for them. It'll be a huge game for Leicester. There's no reason we can't get this Champions League now. There's no reason I can't start dusting off that passport, getting ready for them cheap Ryanair flights, getting cheap for them cheap hotels, and them pints of San Miguel, them pints of Superbock, them pints of whatever the hell they drink in Germany. It's looking so likely, and this adventure that is supporting Newcastle under Eddie Howe and under this new regime is going to be cranked up a notch. The transfer window, I don't even want to think about that, but there's still matches to be played. I think European football is ours of some degree, we can say that. But why would you bet against us beating anyone? If we can go from that first half performance where things were a bit more worrying and turn it on in the second half like we did, I'm fully confident. And it's an absolute joy. I'm absolutely over the moon. I'm going to go and sink a few beers now. Bank holiday Sunday. Eddie Howe's mags have done the business. We're sitting steady in the Champions League places, and there's not really much to not be smiling about right now. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, Newcastle fans. If you have, whack that subscribe, whack that like button. It goes a very, very long way. It means a lot. The subscribers have been on the up. I'll see you on the next video during the week before that huge Arsenal game. And enjoy the rest of your bank holiday, because I know I certainly fucking will. Away the lads.